I mean, I ran 1/3 of the public healthcare system for almost 16 years.
16.
16.
Oh, okay.
Coming from New York, I could bring a different experience here that people didn't have.
You're watching Chic Innovator. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It's free. Hi everyone, Arabel here with Chic Innovator. Fascinating subjects, fascinating people with style that are innovative. So I want to tell you a backstory. It was called Embody a Better You, but we changed the name. Got to see and read Law Roach's book, How to Build a Fashion Icon, and he has the same purpose. We're talking about, through our podcast, enhancing people's lives. And how do you do that? He said you have to be a little bit sexy, a little bit attractive. And so we changed the name. We think Chic Innovator is just that. So please follow us, and we look forward to hopefully being part of your life in a positive way. Jose Sanchez moved from Puerto Rico to New York when he was only 15 years old, barely knowing English. He traversed the beautiful city the best he could and lived in South Bronx and Central Harlem. He fell in love with New York and attended City College of New York for architecture. His dream was to become an architect. But while in college, he ended up doing a work study for psychology class where he helped people with mental disabilities, which, unbeknownst to him, set the stage for his illustrious career. He graduated from City College of New York with a degree in social work, but he was hesitant to go back for his master's. It was the guidance of his college professor, Dr. Richard Skolnick, that persuaded him to get his master's. He was accepted by many schools, but ultimately decided on Adelphi University because they offered him a full-ride scholarship. Dr. Richard Skolnick became a critical mentor and a friend. But trouble hit the school after his first year. Unfortunately, Adelphi was unable to offer the remainder of his master's on a full-ride scholarship. Fortunately, an organization by the name of the 1199 Hospital Union of New York offered to pay the rest of his way through his master's. The only stipulation was that he would be a union organizer and help get Portuguese factory workers in New York and New Jersey to unionize. So while he was in his 20s, he organized workers while getting through college. These skills would prove to be very useful later in his career. He always made friends with professionals and professors alike and always wanted to be alongside winners, people who would add to his success. Jose didn't come from money and grew up in some hard neighborhoods. In order to stay off the streets, away from drugs and gangs, he continued to volunteer at mental hospitals. Today, Jose Sanchez is the president and CEO of Humboldt Park Health, as well as chairman of Wellness West, a group of 40 different organizations. He is also chairman of Safety Net Hospital Association. Currently in Chicago, he is still the only Latino to be CEO of a hospital. With this incredible backdrop, let's get into the interview with Jose Sanchez.
I'm in New York City by myself. I don't have anyone, so I got to take care of myself.
Yes.
So for me, going out to drink and be hanging out with my friends were not the right strategy for me. I felt that I needed to be much more conservative, that I needed to be more protected. And I kind of became closer to people who were adults rather than my peers. Of course, I interacted with them.
Yeah.
I spent time with them. We play, we dated girls together.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I came home every day and I said, I have a responsibility to Jose Sanchez, and he needs to take care of himself.
Yes.
So that was one aspect of it. But it was a choice that I made. And going back to when you said that to stay out of trouble, I volunteer at a psychiatric hospital, was because I lived in a community that was rampant with drugs and crimes and gun violence. And for me to stay out of it, uh, my time off, I felt that it would be better if I volunteer and go to do something for something that I discovered taking a class in psychology at a mental health center. And then I went to a psychiatric hospital every Sunday to play cards, to serve meals to people who were hospitalized there for years.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
that was
that's
something
incredible.
that I protected, but I felt that I was doing something good. And I was kind of also learning from that as well.
You're learning a lot, actually. I mean, a lot. You're taking care of individuals that need it. You've become now. You've gotten yourself in the healthcare industry without you really planning that, but you're doing it for a good cause. And I love the line that you say, I had to take care of myself. It's coming innately from you, because that's the one thing most people forget to do, right? And then that's what gets them in trouble. And you're surrounded by drugs and violence and everything else, and you're finding a vehicle to keep yourself moving forward. I mean, that's huge, especially at a very young age.
Yeah, it was very thoughtful from that point of view. But if I look at my career, for example, as a young professional in New York City. So now I have my bachelor, I got my master's degree, and I'm kind of working. I surrounded myself by winners. The people that were my friends were people who today, for example, one of my friends at that time was Edwin Torres, who wrote Carlito's Way.
Oh, yes.
He was
Yes.
spent a lot of time with Luis Miranda, who is Lin-Manuel
Yes.
Miranda's
Who's still a very good friend of yours.
very good friend of
My
mine.
goodness, yes.
Yeah, I part of my group was Guillermo Linares, who was the first Dominican elected to the city council in New York City. I became friend to Rolando Acosta. Today, he is the first ever Dominican judge. So my environment was a group of winners. We were all winners,
So
and that helped.
I have to ask you this, because how do you know that? I mean, what was it about them that attracted you? What is it? Was there a certain type of energy? Was it how they were spending their time? Was it the way they talked about the things that they wanted? What was it? Because I think a lot of people, would love to be able to pick winners to be around them. And is it an energy? What was it? I mean, share with us kind
Well,
of what you
I
see.
think that what I
Because you're
fi-
still the same. You're still that way. You pick winners. So
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah,
do.
you do.
So what happened is that, it was a very close group of people that were Latino professionals in New York City at that time. And we kind of came together, all of us. And all naturally, all of us were very successful. For example, I became very close to the Miranda's family because I used to be Lin-Manuel Miranda's mother boss.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so they used to invite me to the house. So the father was one of the first Latino appointed under Ed Catch as the head of Latinos Affairs for the city of New York.
Okay. Yeah.
So then we kind of began to develop this kind of network of people that we knew each other and we connected with each other. But then we selected a very tight group that was very small. And those were the winners of the city.
Right.
And today they're still
Still the winners.
the
and
winners.
Still, yes.
you
yes.
know,
yeah.
and then
They say like attracts like, right? And so studies have certain kind of energy attracts similar energy,
Right.
and it sounds like part of that is that and I think the great part of it too is that you've been able to maintain those relationships, and learn from each other and grow with each other, which is really fantastic. Also sounds like all of you give back in a huge way.
absolutely, if I take that group today, what they have done is given back to society.
Yes.
Everyone
Yes.
has been in a key role that actually make a difference in today's world to different people.
Yes.
And even though we are not that close today because everyone began to grow in their own way. I mean, I left New York, I came to Chicago, so it's not the same because we used to get together like every weekend to do something fun, but to also talk about politics. Well, that's gone, And then you take the Miranda family now; they're all over the world, so it's not the same. And a couple of friends of that group actually passed on to the next life, and it's not the same. But we also have kind of continues to make a difference in people's life. For me, coming to Chicago,
Tell us about that. How did you get here? How did you get to Chicago?
Well-
We're lucky to have you, but how did you get here?
well, I would say Arabel has always been a very successful professional. My success comes from hard work, have work ethics, is to be very competitive. It was always to be number one in whatever I did.
Okay.
And, I moved pretty quickly to the ladder in New York City. And, they kind of test me for one hospital. I did extremely well. And then I got 5 other hospitals along the way. When I left New York,
You said they test you. Who tested you? And
well, someone give you the opportunity and say, hey, I think that you could be good at this.
Okay.
We're going to give you this opportunity. It was a psychiatrist who was the commissioner for the Department of Health or Mental Health for the city of New York, who I knew through my professional involvement. Because one thing that I did in my career was I did my job, but also I was always involved in professional activities.
Okay.
I never just went to work and then I went home. I went to work and I was involved in different organizations that actually developed relationships. People got to know me. So this psychiatrist who was the commissioner in New York City, he says to me, I have a hospital, I'm gonna give you an opportunity.
Oh my goodness.
And will you take it?
And you met him through one of the organizations that you're involved with.
Yes.
At that time.
Right.
Okay.
And I, because he got to know me, he got to know my thinking, he got to know my work ethic, he got to know who I was. So for young professionals, I will always advise them, don't just do the work, get involved in extracurricular activities, because this is where your growth is going to come from. You're going to get to know people. You're going to get to know people that are much smarter than you are and who have much more experience than you have. Mm-hmm. So I found that in different organizations as I was working in the hospital. But anyway, I ended up actually running 1/3 of the public healthcare system in New York City.
1/3.
Yeah, with
New York City. I mean, that's huge.
yeah, with 9,000 employees. My operating budget was $1.2 billion a year, associated with 3 medical schools, and I was the most, I would say, recognized Latino healthcare leader. So anything that had to do with healthcare for the Latino community, people would come to me, and I will be the one who will be on the radio, on television. And then I had
Okay, Jose, but hold on. Because there's got to be something inside of you. I mean, at any point, did you get scared? Did you get nervous? Did you at any point question, can I do this? And if you did, how do you handle that? And if you didn't, where did you get this gumption from? I mean, that's huge.
Arabel, every moment there is an emotional challenge in your growth.
Every moment, yeah.
There was fear of, am I going to be able to do this? But one thing that I discovered is that I became very resilient, that if I have the opportunity, I'm going to make it work.
Okay.
And, but
so if you have the opportunity there, you're gonna take it.
But there were scary moments. I mean, this doesn't happen that.
No, this is huge.
And especially as you growing as a young professional that you don't have much experience. You know, it's kind of learning through some of the mistakes that you have. It's a level of feeling insecure
Yeah.
from time to time. But I also had a good sense to go to someone who had the experience and say, listen, I came across this situation. I don't know how to do it. Can you help me?
Okay.
Okay? Having the courage to recognize the things that you are not good at it and the thing that you do not know. And that actually is something that kind of strengthened your position in life because you learned. If you assume that every position you have had or you will have, that you know it all, you're wrong.
Right. Right. Exactly.
So there were scary moments.
Yes.
It was even, I mean, my transition from New York to Chicago was the same way. When a headhunter company called me, that they said that they were looking for a turnaround CEO to run the hospital that today I run,
Which at that time was called.
Norwegian American Hospital.
Yes. Yes.
And now I'm kind of making a decision whether I should do that. And the reason that I was questioning all of this was because I'm well established, I'm well recognized in New York. And now, why should I give that up and start all over again
Right.
in a new city like Chicago? But what I found was that, you know, once I made a decision, I was going to make it work. And I could give up all my established situation in New York City and let me go to Chicago and begin all over again.
Were you ready for the? Did you want a new challenge at that time as well? Is that
I was. I think I was with the New York City. I mean, I ran 1/3 of the public healthcare system for almost 16 years.
16?
16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like to the point that say, hey, you know, I need to do something differently, and that opportunity came. I came here. Loved the city. It was during the summer, of course, and
They always bring you in during the summer because if they bring you in during the winter, you're gonna think
Right.
twice about it. Even though New York gets cold, but it's nothing like what we
but
have
then I
here.
established connection. You know, when I came to the hospital, and I'm actually driving Division Street, looking at the Puerto Rican flags, looking at Mexican flags, I said to myself, I belong here.
Yeah.
I already had a connection with that. I say, you know, because I spent a lot of time in the South Bronx, and I also spent a lot of time in Central Harlem, because I also have oversight of Harlem Hospital for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And I kind of learned a lot during the experience that I had there. And I came here. I mean, of course, my life was totally different here. Now I'm a newcomer to a city that I don't know, to a city that doesn't really know me. And then the process of establishing yourself was probably the hardest one. Having people to recognize you for what you do, and establishing people to believe in you, having people that will believe that you could do here something great. I had a great board.
How long ago was that? How long ago?
13 years ago.
It's already 13. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
That time has passed quickly.
Yeah.
When you decided to come here, and I know you had a really good board at that time, what did you love the most about the city? What was one thing that, if you could say, okay, I'm trying to make a decision, but about the city that kind of excited you?
Well, I think if you take Chicago, it's considered to be the third city in the United States. You know, it has a influence. It has a history in the country. But also, I found that it was easier to manage.
Okay.
But I also felt that coming from New York, I could bring a different experience here that people didn't have. And one of the things, and I still say that one thing is New York City is a very, very aggressive city. And in order for you to make it there, you have to really be what I call in the rat race. Who gets there first?
Yeah.
and here I found that people were certainly nicer.
Okay. We're nicer.
It was quiet. People were more kind of relaxed. And if I tell you one example of how I felt, how people were so nice, is that I arrived to Chicago. I brought a car that I had, and the car was making a noise. And every time the garage attendant brought me the car, he says, well, you got to fix that. And then I said, well, I don't have any time to do that. And then he said, sir, you go to work, I take your car, I fix it, and I will bring it back.
Oh my goodness.
And I said, this doesn't happen in New York City. No one will do this for you in New York. And so that's
people are nice here, though.
Yeah,
we
so
are nice.
I found that.
Yeah.
And that was one example that actually I think I'm in the right city for a while.
Did you feel we were like open arms? Like welcoming with open arms, or?
Well, I had somewhat, but I also found. I'll give you an example. I have arrived here, have taken the job, and I'm into my second week. I went to the university club, and the keynote speaker was Christopher Kennedy, that everybody knows here.
Yeah.
So I waited for him when he came from the podium, and I said, "Hey, Mr. Kennedy, you don't know who I am, but I just want to let you know that I came from New York City 2 weeks ago. I have taken this job here, and I don't know the city, and I'm looking for people to kind of help me out, to introduce me to people in the city." Very daring kind of approach. So he pulled his business card, gave it to me, and he says, "I will give you an appointment." And within a week, I get a call from his office, and I went to see Christopher Kennedy. So here we are sitting, talking to each other, and I explained to him the challenge of the hospital and how I need money. And then he says to me, a lot of people come here to look for money, Jose, but I don't have money to give. But what I could do is I could connect you with people that you could be beneficial to them, and they could be beneficial to you. We finished the meeting, and in front of the computer the same day, and around 7, 8 o'clock, I get about 20 emails from Christopher Kennedy, who wrote the same email to about 20 different people.
Oh my goodness.
And he would say, "Hi, Arabel, I met Jose Sanchez today. I think that you should connect with each other, and you could benefit from each other."
And the power of that. Oh my goodness.
So he connected me for about 20 people that today I still have those relationships.
And
That
you
was-
had just gotten here.
I just got
You
here.
had just gotten here.
That was the benefit of that conversation.
And you had just gotten here. So I think one of the big things with that is ask. Ask, right? I mean, a lot of people forget to ask, or they're afraid to ask, but that sounds like it opened up so many doors.
Doors, absolutely. And we
Yeah.
still are friends. And this year at our gala, he will be one of our honorees.
I saw that.
And,
Yeah.
I'm pretty adaptable professionally. I'm a CEO of a hospital. But if there are times that I don't function as a CEO, I'll give you an example. At the time that I arrived here, Governor Pat Queens announced a $3.5 billion cut on the Medicaid program. So the life of Humboldt Park Health, that used to be Norwegian American Hospital, is that funding that comes from the Medicaid program. And not here even a month.
What percentage was that?
Oh, that was really significant because
Like 80% probably,
Yeah,
right?
they wanted to cut Medicaid significantly.
Mm.
And if they would have done that, actually, they would have closed the hospital.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just arriving here.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about, well, I have a hospital that is in financial trouble. I'm new here. I don't know anyone. What am I going to do with this? Because if this happened, the hospital will be closed. So what did I do? I called leaders from Humboldt Park, and I said to them, and it was my union organizer, mine, that went back and I said, I need to organize a protest to Springfield. And we took 3 buses
Oh my,
to
3
Springfield,
buses. Okay.
full of people from the community that they helped me to gather. And we had a protest. We left about 5 in the morning. We came back in the evening. So I gave a script to everyone to go and talk to elected officials. So now I took off my time. I'm not a CEO. I am an organizer to get the things that I want. What happened? They didn't cut our budget. Okay?
They did not.
Did not.
Any of it? None of it?
Not at all.
Oh my goodness. That's incredible.
And then after that, everyone knew who I was in Springfield. And they used to say, that guy who came from New York.
That organized us.
Yeah.
And that saved.
The guy who came from New York. And then after that, I invited the governor to the hospital and gave him a tour of the hospital. He came. We had a conversation. And he says, I'm going to take care of the hospital. You don't need to worry about that. You guys will be fine. But is that, how do you adapt to your circumstances in life? And it's not that I'm the guy who is the CEO, but I am also the person who understands others, and I'm able to get myself at the same level.
Well, and you also organize and you lead, which not everybody knows how to do that. But when you get this big, that's a huge issue, right? And you're in a new city. Do you sit yourself in a corner? Do you meditate? Do you write it out? What is your process to making some of these major decisions? Do you bring in a team, that you throw ideas after and then they come back with ideas? What is your process for getting some of this? Because that's a big thing. You don't know these people, and so what is your process on some of these major?
The key of professional success is understanding your own weaknesses. But I'm also very clear in my vision and my direction. So when I focus on areas that are not complicated, I don't get complicated by details. I'm a visionary in terms, I make a decision about which direction I want to go. For example, when I arrived to the hospital, I identified 5 areas, and I said to myself, I am not going to distract myself with the details. Of course, those 5 areas have subheadings that there are details, but I gave you very quickly. One was improving quality in the hospital. How do you do that? So focus on that. Financial stability. You must have financial stability.
Quality, financial. Okay.
Right. Reaching out to the community, recruiting physicians because I had an aging medical staff. And the last one, use technology as a tool to help you to be efficient and improve your quality.
Yes.
So I took those 5 areas and I posted all over the hospital.
I like that you said technology, AR tech, that's what we do. So no, that makes, that's huge, right? Yeah. And even back then, it was very different than what it is now.
Exactly.
But I think people that understood that it was a tool to better manage are the ones that are successful.
Exactly. So that was, the way I define my roadmap for the hospital success. Yes. I took a hospital with broke. Today we are one of the most successful safety net hospital, very well recognized. We have now creating new program in the community.
Tell us about this new program, because we're excited about it and we want to see more of that. So tell us what's
Well,
going to be
first,
happening
thank you
there.
very much because you have expressed an interest in this, and
Yes, very much.
I'm looking forward to work with you in
Yes.
that area. But it took me about 7 years to get the money that I needed to build this $30 million wellness center,
Mm-hmm.
and thanks to the state and the city of Chicago, we were able to bring funding to be able to build this state-of-the-art wellness center. So the wellness center is the first of its kind in Humboldt Park. It will be the first one in the community, and through the process of building this, I actually began to create a sense of evolution of the role of this center. So wellness center in concept is basically a fitness center providing education for nutrition. It is also getting a place for gathering people to learn, and then I actually have been adding more to the center, which is beyond that. So right now, uh, the center will be completed in September of this year, in a few months from now, which is a good thing.
Yes,
And
it's a great thing, great
Arabel,
thing,
you and I are
yes.
going to work a lot on that
Yes,
because I have an interest on for the work that you are doing, and how can I support you
Yes, we want
to
to
do that.
move this
But
forward.
also is kind of integrating this wellness center with destination of Puerto Rican town.
Yes,
That is
which is
also
another
huge thing. How
Yeah.
do you connect that center with the National Puerto Rican Museum,
yeah,
with the Puerto Rican Cultural Center, and creating a health center that has also a cultural component into it that brings together
which
the
for the
community.
Latino community is so important.
Brings the community.
Yes, that cultural foundation is very important.
Right. So
Yes.
one of the things that we are doing now is that I'm going to be displaying some of the inside the building, some of the art of the local artists that are in the community, and it is. I mean, I'm having so much fun with this that you wouldn't believe it, because this is a transformative center in the city as we address the entire health of the community. And it's a very exciting project, and it's also connected to, with Wellness West, which is another
Oh yes, that's another.
a group of 40 organizations
Mhm.
that I have the privilege to chair in the city, and connecting all of these things, connecting all of these resources, economic, culture,
Mhm.
housing,
Mhm.
transportation, food insecurity
Yeah,
in our community is
and involving the families, not
Involving-
just the individuals, because you're going to have in the center a place where families can also gather.
Exactly. And this is kind of beginning to realize some of my vision of what I wanted to do for the community. And, I'm a very happy man for now.
No, well, but it's incredible. And I don't know if I'm sure you realize this, but you're an architect. Your original dream, right, is being rolled out, except you're not creating buildings. Buildings are within, right, your vision and everything that you're creating, but you're an architect, really, and helping move communities forward in a big, big way.